Hello again. I just wanted to continue the messages for today in continuation from the earlier message that was recorded for you regarding what a lot of us are experiencing at this time with this strong shift of energy that's happening for us because of this eclipse tomorrow and Mercury retrograde and the Great Awakening and all of this stuff that I'm sure all of us are getting tired of because it is becoming so exhausting. So after I recorded that message, I shuffled some cards and got a couple of messages to share with you that I feel is very much connected to what it is that Spirit wanted me to speak about, what I started the conversation with. And this is more details to help you understand more about what you may be experiencing through this shift, through this time of really releasing an old version of ourselves so that we could become this new person, this new version, the true version, the true authentic version of who we are, right? And and really when you think about it, hold on one second. This train is going by. It's loud every time I record. One second. Sorry about that. It's still going by. It's almost like representative of the distractions in our life, in our lives that are trying to come in to take us off our path, to take us off or to help us continue on this journey. Sorry about that, guys. That was a long train. I feel like it's almost like representative of distractions, right? When you are starting this type of a journey where you're really trying to release an old version of yourself, old patterns and behaviors that no longer serve you. And when you're ready to shift into this higher consciousness, this higher frequency of energy, to become the authentic version of who you truly are without all of the limitations and programming and beliefs that have been instilled in us, right? When we are trying to change that behavior, to grow, to release, to heal, to release all of this stuff that really was just supposed to show us or bring us to this point of becoming aware and awakened, we will have a lot of distractions thrown at us. And sometimes those distractions really will stop us from continuing on this journey, right? Whether it is an addiction of some sort, you're starting this journey, you're doing really good, you're feeling really good, you're making those changes that you need to make, you're feeling like, wow, I'm really on the right path, I can feel the changes. And what happens? An addiction shows itself to you. What do you do? How do you react to it, right? This is where the strength of will comes in, because we're going to be tested on all levels to really show how committed we really are to making the changes that are necessary for us to shift into this higher frequency, into this better version of who we are, to shift into this true version of who we are. We're going to be tested with a lot of stuff. And that is why so many of us are feeling these shifts. So many of us are being affected in dream state, because sometimes in our physical state, in our conscious state, we're so distracted and we're so busy with life that we miss some of the things that are trying to be presented to us so that we can take a look at it. So truly, I really feel like that train that went by was kind of like a representation of distractions, right? Distractions that pull us off our path. Of course, it's not going to pull me off my path, but it's just to say that we may be experiencing that as well at this time, right? Old addictions, behaviors, patterns that we've gotten so used to in our life that we made part of who we are, or we thought we were, what we've been used to and familiar with. But in reality, it was really, a lot of those things were created by you to distract you from your true healing of what needs to be done within yourself, right? So notice that stuff, because it will show up. And Mercury retrograde is definitely known for that, bringing up or bringing people from your past, people who really weren't good for you and your growth. In some cases, people from your past who are actually making a genuine commitment to changing themselves and wanting and needing to show you that part of them, right? But also the other addictions, especially when time, if you notice, like a lot of times those addictions, it can be anything, right? The way we think, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, things that pulled us away from and gave us a temporary fulfillment, to pull us away and distract us from really looking at what's truly going on. So before I go into a tangent, again, I guess that was important and something that needed to be expressed. I wanted to show you the cards that popped out, and they all are connected to what we're talking about, right? It's like this shift. We're trying to, what's trying to be illuminated is all of this stuff that we're holding on to still, these fears, phobias, anxieties, things that are really holding us back from moving forward, are really being illuminated to us, whether in the physical sense here in the reality of it, or in our dream state. And I guess whatever way the universe is trying to show it to you, to help you pay attention to it, not to create more fear or confusion, but more or less it's like they're trying to get your attention, right? Especially if you've been doing the work up to this point and have become so much more aware and awakened by all of these things, these experiences, that really were just supposed to teach us lessons. But when you start becoming aware of them, we start to take the steps to make those changes, right? And we've been doing that, right? Most of us have been doing it, but now we're being challenged again. Our strength of will is being challenged again. The remnants of the remainder of a lot of things that haven't fully come up to the surface, the deeper rooted issues and emotions connected to those issues and experiences, are trying to be shown to us so that we can finally take the final steps, or begin to take any steps to seeing it, being aware of it, because we're in awareness now. So we should be more aware of what it is that's coming up with us. If we continue to resist it and fight it, it's just going to keep showing up to us, and it may come through even more challenging, and create more fear. So it's really important for you to recognize that is what is going on right now. Like, those fears are coming up in our dream state for a lot of people that I've talked to, because it really wants you to recognize and be aware of where those fears are coming from, and that it's time to heal it and let it go so we can really move forward in a positive way. So one of the cards that popped out during the shuffle after the previous message that I recorded was, guess what it was? Transformation. Is that not what we are going through? Right. Validation, transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. Exactly, right? And this is what I've been talking to you about in the past videos, in the journey, the soul's journey back to your heart series. Just this major transformation that we're going through and how accelerated the changes are appearing for us, because it really needs to be released. It really needs to be healed and released so that we can take those steps into creating this new earth, right? This new earth. It's so important at this point. So I'm going to read the message to you. Okay. So this is the first card that came through. And this is from the Work Your Light Oracle cards deck. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. Things are changing at a cellular level. You are not who you were a year ago or who you will soon be. You are in between, emerging, half risen, half falling. Keep doing the work. You are transforming. You will look back at this time with awe. So much is happening in your inner world and within yourselves. It's time to release old ways of being that have kept you in fight, flight, freeze mode. To choose a new way of being where trauma is not the driving force. Wow, right? This is what we've been talking about. It's so true. This is what we're feeling. This is what we're experiencing. Really, we are changing. We are not, and I've mentioned this in the series, we are not who we were a year ago, especially if you are really making the conscious choices and decisions to change patterns and behaviors that really doesn't feel good to us. And as you begin to become aware and awaken, you're going to see and discover that for yourself, that those things don't feel good anymore. They don't feel good. And there's the push. There's the acceleration. Okay, it doesn't feel good, right? We go by what it feels like. And we know that and learn that by the experience, right? And what we've learned in those lessons. That is why it is presented to us. It doesn't feel good anymore. So we no longer want to be in that old space. And if we still continue to stay in that old space, we're going to be forced with so many challenges and tests and repeated patterns that they're going to feel worse, even worse than they started off feeling, because again of the shift of the energy, the acceleration, the need to step into this higher consciousness, to create this new earth, to awaken to all of those things. So the longer we hold on and the longer we don't release or heal or release, it's only going to be shown to us in a more intense way. So pay attention and be aware of all of that stuff that is coming up for you. Here we go, right? Let's continue. Old childhood patterns are rising up to be healed. Most of this stuff is from our childhood and the things that we went through, the trauma, the experiences, all of this stuff is trying to be healed. It's trying to come up. Our inner child is trying to be healed so that we can release and move forward without this baggage anymore, right? We don't want this. It doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't, right? To me anyway, and most people who are awakening and aware, this stuff don't feel good no more. Who wants it? Let's heal it. Let's acknowledge it, right? Let's release it. As you allow yourself to observe them and feel them without attachment, they loosen their grip and fall away. You are being called to find new ways to self-soothe. Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Oshan influence this card. Saturn represents destruction and transformation. The Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside. And Oshan represents the tender love of the original mother. A rethreading is happening. Healing at the deepest of levels is going deep. That's why it's showing up in our dream state. While you are in this phase, don't put yourself under pressure to perform. You may need to review your relationships with your body, perhaps even shifting your diet or exercise regime, or getting energetic healing support. You may also need to consider some kind of emotional support, as issues from your childhood may come up. To be healed, you are deeply loved. And you can say this affirmation: I allow myself to receive the deepest healing and transformation for change to happen at a cellular level. Do you see what I was speaking to you about earlier? And really, it is explaining. It's explaining it to us. Those changes are really trying to be made. They're really coming up to the surface. So be gentle with yourself through this process, but also acknowledge all of the stuff as it comes up, right? Be aware of what your dreams are telling you, because there is deep information in knowing in our dreams. If they really do tell us a lot. So don't fear the dreams. Kind of feel through them or even observe them. I know it's hard to do that when we're sleeping, right? It feels so real sometimes when it happens. But really, if we become the observer, or, when you wake up and you still have it on your mind, stop, take a deep breath, and try to go back and think about what showed itself in your dream. Observe it and see what kind of emotions it brings up in you. All right, my loves. So the next segment, I am going to read the next card that came through for you. And this is all, again, connected to what we are experiencing right now with this lunar eclipse. And if I get opportunity to, and I think I'm going to try to do it tomorrow, I think I am going to, during this lunar eclipse, I think I'm going to do a healing video, okay? Whether it's sound therapy or it'll definitely be Reiki healing energy, remote Reiki healing energy, to help soothe us and help get us through this really intense energy shift. I will announce that when I post that video, okay? But I will be doing it. I feel like I'm guided to do it tomorrow, and I will do it, and I will let you know when I do. All right, stay tuned for the next segment, the next message that needs to be shared with you all. Talk to you soon.